Welcome to the Basin Show. This is episode 3. After last week, we wanted to do something a little less heavy.
Something happy.
Something happy. Well, I don't know how happy
I
this is
want to
going to
believe, dude.
So we're going to be talking about just kind of supernatural things. We wanted to talk about, there was an article that you brought up earlier, Kelton, about the government talking about UFOs.
Yeah, a little bit of that. They were kind of bringing up, or they were declassifying some information of potential UFO sightings, which all that a UFO really is an unidentified flying object in terms of military.
Don't they have another term for it, though? Military? I'm pretty sure that, okay.
Anytime there's FO in the military, there's probably a few other things. Let's be real here. But no, yeah, they came out and declassified some of the documents and
Oh, yeah, so they call them unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs.
that's what they're called now, right? Yeah.
So that's like the official
But
term.
basically, they had like footage of. I didn't think it even looked like a spaceship, but apparently people are like, it looks like a spaceship, man. That like an F-18 saw in the atmosphere.
What does it look like?
Like a dark blob on an IR. Like
Must be an alien spaceship.
it's like Bigfoot in the woods, man. Everybody sees like a plastic bag and they're like, it's Bigfoot.
Or they see like a bear, and they're like, Sasquatch.
It's because we're killing all the bears, man. There's deforestation. Bigfoot and the bears are going to be gone soon.
Or they're going to come back like with a vengeance, dude.
I think
birds?
Bigfoot's probably
They're
gone.
going to go to war with the Sasquatch, dude. They're gonna throw sticks at us.
Like Carrie and the Hendersons or something?
Sure. Yeah.
What a good show.
All right, pull up a picture so I can see it.
All right, let's see. I'm just going to Google that article I sent you.
Yeah.
So, Derek, do you believe in aliens, or do you just want to believe?
Well, it doesn't make sense that we'd be the only ones.
Mathematically, as a statistician, what's your math behind this? Like, how do they do this?
Mathematically, our universe is infinite, and to think that we're the only ones that happen to have life, I think is kind of
If
narcissistic.
If things could line up for us to exist, odds are it could happen again.
And if it's infinite, that means it's happened again an infinite number of times.
I don't think our universe is like infinite, though, right?
Okay, what's the end of the infinite then?
What's the end of the universe?
Well, they say that the universe is expanding too, but if the universe is everything, then what is it expanding into?
Exactly.
And like,
But also, like you have separate like galaxies and then clusters of galaxies, as you know.
It looks like a walrus or something flying.
well, aliens don't exist, everybody. Derek figured it out. It's a walrus.
You know how in the beginning of Hitchhikers talk about like how the dolphins are like the second most smart animals on the planet? No, it's the walruses.
The walruses, they learned to fly.
Yeah.
I have a joke about walruses, but
explodes.
my little brother watches this, so we can't say that.
What?
I can't say my joke about walruses.
Why not?
Everybody knows it, though.
You could bleep it out and it'd be funny.
I can't, like... I'll tell you guys later.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe that they've come here and they're, I don't know. Maybe they have scouts coming out. I don't know. I don't think like green people are the best explanation for an alien. If you're, I think that LDS religion actually has an explanation for multiple worlds without number and different plans and all that.
I mean, it's not too different from like what you said, like the whole idea of like, well, we can't possibly be the only living things in the universe, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not super big into the whole ancient alien thing.
It's a good meme mill, though.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. And like for like, I was watching a documentary on like Mesopotamian, like ancient gods and things, and they were basically like lizard people and stuff. And
So, like, the not, like, South American or Central American version of Indiana Jones? Like the last one?
kinda, yeah. I guess it would make sense explaining why all these structures are so similar from across the world, but I don't know. It doesn't convince me. Especially when the guys like the same guy's always got the spiky crazy hair. You know the guy I'm talking about? On the History Channel.
Oh, on
He's
Ancient Aliens?
Huh?
On Ancient Aliens?
On Ancient Aliens.
The guy that goes,
Aliens. Such an old meme.
Yeah.
But it's still gold, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I it's definitely a TV show. They're there to keep you watching and to, give viewers like, yeah, that's one thing, but yeah.
Well, what about ghosts? Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh,
I don't know about that one.
I don't see why not, because people talk about different dimensions. Like, yeah, we live in 3. People
It's
claim
like the
up to like
8.
11
It's like the
11
spooky
different
one.
dimensions. It's like 4-dimension, 5-dimensional. I mean, who knows? I mean, we can only perceive so much with our senses. Like, who's to say there's not something else out there that we just can't perceive or whatever? I don't know. I don't know.
There's no way to prove it, and there's no way to prove against it.
Yeah, it's
All I'm saying is I've been in a lot of rooms where like someone has died, or I was in there when they died, or they've been dead for a while. And sometimes you feel something. And
Yeah.
like maybe, just maybe, it's like a pork burrito. Or
Maybe you're just hungry, or
well, because that's something that they do at a lot of nursing homes is like when someone dies, you have to open up the window after they die because
sort of sink.
it lets the soul escape.
What?
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
heard that.
It's something that we always did it though.
I wonder if the reasoning for that is like kind of like a mental thing. Like you see a dead person and your brain registers it before you, like your consciousness does, and it starts to freak out. And then like, oh, I'm going to open a window. I'm doing something. I wonder if it's like part of like a controlling your lizard brain from freaking out because you're doing something.
Maybe.
And then they put a reasoning behind it and it makes you not freak out as hard. I don't know.
I don't know. So a few years ago, one of my great aunts died. Super nice lady. I really miss her. But when she was in her hospice bed, basically they had the grandkids come, and there was one grandkid that said, "Look at all the angels." And he was looking up around the room. They're so beautiful, is what he said. And I was like, "That's interesting."
You're like,
I wasn't
I'm
there
gonna
to see
go.
it. I wasn't there to see the kid, but they told me about that later, and I was like, "Huh." And Aunt Esther, she was talking about, seeing her, since past husband. He's like always coming to get me. It's time soon, kind of thing. Like, and it was like, I don't know. You're getting pretty close to the veil of, and it gets pretty thin. You probably can, if it is all real, you probably could see it a little better than others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of older people that are about to pass have really similar experiences, man. Because there was one lady, I was working a grave shift, and she was kind of in like that actively dying stage, but she was super fit of body, so she could move. And I remember getting a call from the resident across the hall, and he was just like, "This lady is like losing it, man. She is going crazy. You gotta come help me." And I'm like, I think I was like 16 at the time or something. Like I was really young, 16 or 17. And I go running down the hall, and she's like just laying on the floor and like pointing and like, "The kids, they're all after me." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm alone, and there's like 40 people I have to take care of." And hands down, super terrifying. And then she eventually calmed down. But the bad part was she calmed down and was laying in bed. And she like looked up there and she's like, "Yeah, see, look, these kids are they just keep walking in here." And I was just like, "Oh, okay."
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know. Part of me wants to believe that there is more to life and there is something after, and yeah, maybe there is something. I don't know. Like part of me wants to believe, but then part of me is like, well, how much of that is just like your brain chemistry getting real weird as you're dying?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, because doesn't your brain release something? It may not be exactly the same, but it's similar to DMT when you die.
super similar. Yeah.
And yeah, and who's to say you're not just
having an acid trip.
DMT trip? But yeah,
Yeah.
they're very different.
She did have dementia when she died, so
Yeah.
that did, explain something. But the kid didn't have dementia, and he was seeing stuff.
Man, kids say the weirdest things sometimes.
Yeah.
though.
Maybe the kid was just a jerk. Just like
He
messing
was
with
like
people.
4 or something.
You could still
Maybe he
mess with
was smart
someone,
enough
you
to
never know.
mess with people, but I don't know. I've heard stories of kids, especially seeing, like imaginary friends. And for instance, my cousin told me a story of his cousin, their kid. had an imaginary friend, and it lived in the closet, and they were playing dolls, whatever, and one of the parents was looking in, just, keep an eye on them, and they were talking. She was talking to someone, right? Imaginary friend, obviously. And she saw a doll on the other end of the freaking room move towards her. And I don't know, that seems, I don't know, you might hallucinate that, but the kid's obviously seen something, isn't she?
An AK would make things okay in that situation. That is
I don't know
terrifying.
if AK is going to make... Okay, so this is always a point I love to bring up when people talk about, especially like horror movies, like when there's like a poltergeist or something, like trying to kill somebody. It's like, dude, yeah, do it. I'll fight you as a ghost. Do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
even playing
why are you afraid of like if... I don't know, if there is a ghost, like, why be afraid? Like, if it kills you, cool. Now you're on its playing field. Fight it.
Well, the scary thing about that is maybe my personal beliefs or something like that. I don't know that if you die, your spirit stays, tangible here.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I kind of do believe in, evil spirits in general.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a ghost, someone that's dead, but just an evil spirit, like a demon of some sort or whatever it is. I kind of, I'm kind of superstitious.
Yeah, then again, I'm in the same boat. I remember I lived in Oregon. I lived in Salem for a little while.
Ooh, Salem.
Yeah, it's the capital. It's not Portland. It's Salem is the capital. I will fight you because that's what it is.
What are you gonna fight someone about that?
I don't know. I'm just ready to go, dude.
Aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive. But I remember talking to a guy who was on DMT, and he was talking about how like some of the entities he would see when he was tripping were like, some of them would be nice, some of them just wouldn't care, and then there were some that just hated him because he was alive. And I'm like, you know what?
That makes sense.
If there were evil spirits, they would hate you because you're alive and they're not. Like, that makes sense to me.
I heard that's a common theme with people who are like tripping on DMT is seeing people.
Yeah.
It's weird how those chemicals can let you see the other side of a dimension.
It's more than that. Who knows?
We don't know. No one knows how this all works.
We're just having fun. Don't go all doctor. Let me have this.
But guys, don't worry. There's a dance on YouTube entitled "How to Kill a Ghost." So,
Do you dab on it?
nah, it's like a ballet thing. I don't think they're
Then
gonna
it's
dab.
really dead
I
if you
really
haven't
don't want to
dabbed
like.
on
What are you watching?
It's how to kill a ghost. All right, so you just do a bunch of spins, another spin, another spin, then you put your head like that, and now you reach for this. I don't know what the hell's happening. Okay,
How do
so
you kill something that either is dead or hasn't lived? Assuming on like
you
what
take it
is.
completely out of existence.
Just I don't know. Side thought.
Well, so interesting story, okay?
Okay.
So, my mom's side, they're from Guatemala. So my grandpa, so my mom's dad, his grandpa, okay? So it was my great grandpa, was like the town kind of wise person, or like, if something was weird, they would go to him. And he ended up, we believe that he was some kind of witch doctor, or he definitely was a medium. Like he would, commune with spirits. And I was in preparation of this discussion, I was talking to my mom, and she told me a story that she just heard from her dad, that when he was like 5 or 10 or something like that, somewhere in that early age, he would basically just was raised by his grandpa, and he would go with him everywhere. And there was a story that said he was with his uncle because his uncle, his house was being haunted of some sort. They thought they had a word for it. They thought it was just kind of in Guatemala, it's kind of like their version of a leprechaun. It's like a little person with
like
a
a
hat.
gremlin?
Yeah, kind of like that. It basically would just, raise havoc kind of thing. So
So
that
like
was
a
their...
gremlin and a leprechaun had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gremlicon.
Apparently it had a hat or something like that, like a leprechaun or something. I don't know.
It's just after your Lucky Charms.
So that was their explanation of things that were going wrong and like unexplainable things. It was I forget the word, but
Scapegoat.
Yeah, kind of. But so my my grandpa's uncle at the time, he had his cousin come in and he's like, "Oh, I'll get rid of it for you," because he thought it was, this little leprechaun thing. And he's gonna find it. But he goes inside and he sits on the bed, and all of a sudden he gets getting pelted by like river rocks, and they were wet, and all these rocks start coming at him, and he gets chased out of the house.
Were there windows?
No, not well. It wasn't coming from the window. It was coming from the house. Because he was getting chased all the way out, still getting pelted by river rocks, and his uncle saw it. Okay, this is all hearsay and all that. But
like, what was the uncle like? Hey, check it out, and then like throwing rocks at the dude to mess with him.
I don't know. So they came in. So that didn't work. This guy, the cousin, didn't help at all. So they called my great grandpa, right? They got him, and he went inside. He's like, "Yeah, it's not this leprechaun thing. It's something else." So they started making dinner while they were there, and they made beans because that's all you can freaking eat in Guatemala because it's all you can afford. So they made beans, and they put the water in there, and they were watching the pot, whatever. All of a sudden, when the beans were cooked, it was filled with mud. Like something weird happened to the beans, okay? And then they went inside, and they had a seance, basically. They had candles and tablecloth and all this. And my grandpa, he said that he started talking to someone in a different language, and they couldn't see the other person, but he heard a voice.
What language?
They don't know what language, but my great grandpa apparently knew it and was talking back to him. And then after that, basically he said that he was from the war and that they didn't, send him away properly with like spiritually or whatever. And that's why he was at the house. But then he didn't know there was no other things happening after that. Like there wasn't voices anymore. There wasn't anything like that. So that was the first story that my mom told me, and I was asking about that. And then we kind of went on from there. But do you guys have anything similar?
Oh, yeah.
We do have
I
a story
forgot
we
about
can
this.
tell. I think about it all the time. I want to go back and figure out what it was. So we have it's not nearly as it's not
Mischievous?
It's not as similar. That wasn't a very good sentence. It's not quite as like spoopy. I would argue it's not quite as spooky, but we have a story. So this was like what 2 years ago, 2.5.
Yeah, about
3 maybe.
2.5 probably. Yeah,
Yeah, it was. It was like our first year into college.
Yeah.
And so we all had jobs that we worked really late into the evening, and so we'd hang out. We'd like meet up at like midnight. We'd go drive around, right? It's what you do. It's sleep day. I don't need it. It's a crutch.
Sleep is for class, kids.
Yeah.
Actually, don't go to class.
Yeah.
I have to say that. Yeah, go to class. Be awake. Take notes.
Especially if you're paying for it yourself. Go to class.
If someone else is paying, you can sleep. No, don't. Make their money worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make your time worth it too. Anyway, so this one evening, it was me, Kelton, and a third friend of ours. We'll just call her R. I don't know if she wants us to use her name or not. Let's call her R. Hopefully, maybe we have to censor it out if we say her name or something. Anyway, so we hop in. I had a Jeep at the time. We hop in my Jeep and we're driving up to this. It's a public land area close to where we live, up the mountains to the east. And if any of you know about what's a certain wildlife area, ranch area in the east of Utah. We were kind of close to that. Skinwalker Ranch. We were kind of close. Anyway, so we were out on this publicly owned land in my Jeep, just kind of romping around. It was kind of snowy in December at the time.
Don't use the word romping. Come on. Use something else.
Going up and down hills was fun.
Anyways,
wheeling around, messing around, and we come up on top of this hill, and so it's like this flat area. There's a fence to the left, and then the road goes to the right, and then down a hill. And we stop at the top of this hill, and I start thinking to myself, like, dude, maybe we should turn around. It's getting late. I don't want to get stuck. Let's turn around. And I'm sitting there for a second. I'm like, looking at Kelton and our other buddy, and I'm like, I think I'm going to turn around, guys. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, do you guys feel something weird?
Well, because it was her that all of a sudden was just like, yeah, guys, I'm not having a good feeling right now.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't even know how to describe that feeling.
It was very much like not so much like I want to say the word dread is, but it was like you need
It's
to
close
leave.
to dread. Yeah.
It was like a warning almost. It was like, yeah, you need to leave right now. Like if you don't leave, something bad's gonna happen, and this is your chance to get out.
Oh, dude, I still get like.
Yeah, no, it
weird
was
thinking
really
about that,
like
yeah.
creepy because like
goosebumps.
Yeah, I get goosebumps
because
too.
of how thin the road was and how deep the snow was. I didn't want to. I took a while to turn around. It probably wasn't actually that long, but it felt like a long time turning around.
I thought it was like on Psych when Gus goes to turn around like 19 times. I felt it like it was like that. I know it wasn't.
It was a 3-point turn, but
Yeah.
it felt like a 97-point turn.
Yeah, it took forever.
Yeah, it was
Austin
like
Powers.
everything got like really.
Was it like
Intense.
Was it like, we need to get out of
Did
here
you
right
notice It
now?
got cold?
Yeah, it got. I mean, we were in. Granted, it was a 95.
important.
What?
It got cold. Okay.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah, it
going.
got really
I
cold.
mean, but it was. I mean,
Granted,
we
it
had
was
been in the
cold
winter.
anyway.
There was 3 of us in a small space, and that Jeep. I mean, yeah, it was a 95 model, but the heater worked
Dude,
great.
that heater was going. Dude,
was
that's
like-
what was so weird.
it was a hard.
like-
Yeah,
Okay.
it was full blast, full heat, full send.
The best though is like once he gets to a level plane again, he is hauling. He's in 4x4 high and just hauling butt down that road. And the hard top on it was held in with these tiny little POS screws, and they were like, I don't know what was wrong with it, but like they must have been like kind of stripped.
They were the holes were a little. They were never threaded, but like the screws I had were just too small. So when you were on a washboard road and the hardtop would vibrate, it would knock the screws out of the roof.
Yeah.
So normally when we'd go, I'd give the passenger seat
A screwdriver.
a screwdriver and say, yeah, put the bolts in as we drive.
Well, because
That's
I
your
remember
job.
it was her putting the screws in, and you're like, look behind us, make sure no one's like coming after us.
Yeah,
or
it's like you're
something.
turned
Yeah.
around in the back seat.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
So
know.
you don't know what it was?
And then my radio started going nuts.
Yeah, that was what made
That
it
was
even
what
worse.
that was what
yeah.
set me over the edge because like we're going about 55 down this like tiny washboard road in 4x4. Wasn't gonna slow down to pop it into 2. No, oh no, it didn't
No,
matter.
we were hauling.
Which is about as fast as you can go with one of those. But I don't know, my radio just starts making this crazy noise, and it had been off the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, because we never had the radio on, dude.
Yeah, it
Unless
was
we were
off.
playing a meme song, we just like talk and
Yeah,
like.
because as soon as we
look,
would get out
yeah.
of service, just turn it off. Well,
Yeah,
have it on.
we just go chill.
Yeah,
Dude, it was a freaky static too. It's not just like a.
it was like
static.
it was like you were like half getting a signal.
Yeah.
but it was far away.
Like
But it wasn't even on the radio setting either.
Yeah,
it was
just-
on like
just-
Bluetooth or
It
something,
was
right?
through the speakers, just like making tons of noise.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it to turn off. I was sitting there jamming the button
Yeah.
and it wouldn't turn off.
Holy shit.
We got
dude,
back
it
on the road
was-
and then it was just nothing.
Do you have any idea what it would have been?
No. That's what like freaks me out. Is I have no idea what it was.
I
But
just
you
get
all
that.
got the same feeling. You all got
all
cold.
at the same time
Yeah.
too. That was
You're
the
like,
weird part.
okay.
Is
And the radio wasn't just me hallucinating. I've asked him and I've asked her.
No, because I remember we were freaking out trying to get it to turn off.
Yeah, no, but like I've talked to our other friend about it since then. It was actually a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm still like kind of freaked out about that."
I want to go back.
Yeah, you have a truck. You have more firepower. We wanna
Audio,
go
guys.
back.
Audio. Wow.
Derek over here,
They
like,
ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine. They're not really fine.
Yeah, we need to go back like
soon.
No. Have you
late
guys
into the evening.
ever gone see Flo?
What?
See Flo?
I think it's something so
See
much
flow?
different. It's the ghost lady in Ogden in like one of the cemeteries.
I've never heard of this.
You've never heard of Flo?
No,
Everyone's gone and seen Flo. Ryan saw her.
I've never. I'll go. I'll fight it.
So
I'll fight the ghost.
So I've never
I'm
gone.
smarter.
I've never gone. So apparently, there's like this hill you sit on,
okay.
and it overlooks some certain gravestone or something like that, and you
Yeah.
flash your lights 3 times, and then all of a sudden,
Headlights?
yeah.
Okay.
So you're in your car,
Okay.
and then you basically, sometimes not all the time, a green. Everyone says it's green orb or something
Like
with
Slimer from Ghostbusters.
some, I don't know. I've never seen it. But it appears and then it goes across the road and it kind of travels if you're there long enough. But some people say her name is Flo because there's sometimes people say that there's like a silhouette of a girl in it. My uncle, I talked to my uncle today and he said that when he was younger, he went and to chase her. And so they ran up to her, and then all of a sudden she got really big. And they're like, okay. And they ran back, and then she kind of disappeared.
He didn't go, all rip and tear.
Yeah. So, I mean, he said that they looked for, any explanation in terms of
Like a projector or
You know,
something.
like
'cause
projector
we
or
don't have
some-
like a swamp. It couldn't be like swamp lights or anything.
yeah, it was. I mean, it's green.
So yeah, you'd think it'd be some sort of like gas making a weird
Yeah.
headlights and stuff.
So, I mean, the only explanation he had is that maybe it was some kind of gas that is leaking out of something. But, I mean, he's seen it multiple times.
Yeah, that's
And my brother saw it. Well, he said he kind of saw it. He was in the back seat of a car.
Ryan's pretty good for his word too. Like
yeah.
he's
He's
honest.
not,
He's not out there trying to get likes.
but also he's not the kind of guy who just says things. He doesn't say a lot in the first place. So
Yeah,
if
he
he's
was-
gonna say that. Like I trust him.
So I called him today, too.
Yeah.
And the first time he told me, it was, probably a year or two ago. He was super freaked out about it. But today he's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I saw it. Maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think about that all the time with our stupid little like off-road story. I'm like, how much of that was just like mass delirium, like caused by somebody saying like I don't feel good. And then
yeah,
everybody,
but
like,
if
freaking out.
everyone has a gut feeling at the same time and just someone says something, doesn't mean that they didn't feel that, It wasn't like, okay, now I feel it when he said it, right?
No, it was.
Yeah, no,
it was.
that's a good point. I was
yeah.
feeling it when I stopped because I just stopped. I didn't have a reason to. I just stopped and I was like,
Yeah, he stopped, and then our friend was like,
Yeah.
"Guys, I have a really bad feeling. Do you feel that?" And I had felt it probably like a good minute before
it
that.
was like the last hill we started going
Yeah.
up. As soon as we started going up, I'm like, I'm gonna turn around up here.
yeah,
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break.
Oh, EU break.
EU break.
Yeah.
1 second here.
God save the Queen. We're not even back yet.
Yeah.
We're back.
Cool.
Okay. So where did we leave off? Bad feeling in the car. It was
Spooky ghost. Like,
Spooky.
Was it just like mass hysteria caused by somebody saying like, "Oh, I don't feel good," or was it actually something?
I think it was something based on what you told me.
Well, we ate fast food right before too. That might
we?
be the. I thought we did.
I don't
that
remember.
night.
I don't think we had gotten food that night.
Dude. We got food like every night.
Did we?
Normally, freshman 15 was like a real thing.
I lost weight.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the only time I ever ate was like middle of the night.
Really?
Yeah, because I work so much.
Didn't they say that parts of Fremont were haunted?
This is at every school, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put much stock in that, seeing as the school's only been around since like '94 or whatever. But
I've heard
I never
Ogden High though.
huh?
Like I've heard a lot of people say Ogden High is pretty.
Oh, I
haunted.
believe that.
Oh yeah,
or
freaking.
something.
That
look,
and
if you see Ogden High, it's like
It's so cool though.
Yeah.
FDR just basically built it to pump money back into the economy, and it's very well done.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I've never had like a super experience like that. I've actually I feel something and I need to stop right now. But I've heard like my mom has lots of stories, but my mom's superstitious, so it explains why she thinks it's that. But there was time in Guatemala when she was young that she was going to go on a bus because it was the only bus because the school she went to was like an hour away and like 2 hours if she walked or something. It was like only like 15 minutes if she drove on the bus. So, she wanted to take the bus. But so when she went to get on, she literally stopped and felt something pushing back on her and saying no, right? So she tried again and it said, don't, right? Don't get on, basically. And so she didn't get on. She listened. And later on that day, as she's walking home, in the next bus stop, she sees people that were getting on the bus, the same people she saw get on the bus, off the bus, crying and beaten up. And there was some girls that were raped and things like that, and just a robbery, basically.
Jeez.
So,
I
don't know.
No, the thing is, like, you hear like stories like that aren't uncommon, which is something
Especially where we grow up too. We hear that stuff a lot of like something's like, hey, don't do that. And then later on you find out that was a really good decision to not do that.
no, like, so part of me is like wondering, like, I wonder if there is something It's like, yeah, don't.
Yeah, I mean that.
You know what I mean?
Holy Ghost, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
have me walk beside me.
that or I know one theory I've heard is like, well, it could be like relatives who've passed on. I mean, they would be the only, assuming ghosts are real, they would be the only entities with a vested interest in your safety. So like, if anyone's gonna do it, it's probably that. I've heard that as a reasoning. I don't know, but I think I like the idea.
That's an odd thing though, because like, are these ghosts then involved in like basically Darwinism of like, I must see that my genes are passed on to the like that's how I think of it.
When you think about it, like what is life really? It's all about like getting yourself into position so you can pass on your genes and thus pass yourself on in a way, right?
No, life is about life finds a way.
Yeah. Life finds a way to pass on its genes.
No, yeah, that's literally kind of what drives life.
Yeah.
Do you guys know there was a shooting at Weber State?
When?
1993.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, apparently ever since then, there's a lot of students who feel like they're watched there and like have cold spots and unexplained noises.
There were a lot of weird cold spots.
Cold spots are kind of an interesting theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I worked at Weber, I remember like, I worked in the theater department, right? And there would always be somebody in the building. Like you could tell there was somebody, you could hear people walking and stuff, but you'd never see him. It was always really weird. And I always passed it off as like some like music major who's probably high off his
rocker.
Yeah. Super high as a kite, doing something dumb in a practice room. I heard a kid playing a saxophone at like 4 a.m. once, and I was like, okay, it makes sense. Like I didn't even question it, but like, I don't know. There were some weird like moments in there where I was like, I'm the only person in here, and I feel like I'm being watched. This is kind of weird, dude.
Well, I've had a few times where like I'll be there and it's like 3 or 4 in the morning and I'm dissecting and like I'll kind of hear something and I'm like, there's no way anyone else is around but me. So I can't think about it, especially with like what I'm doing too, because it just gets like way too wild. So I just hurry and go like, I think I turned on like some war movie last time, just cranked the volume so I had no opportunity to think about it. Like I think I watched Saving Private Ryan that night.
When I was at this is a restaurant, you know, if you're closing, you're kind of like the last person in there. And I don't like being the last person, so I'm like, hey, you're staying with me. I'm not being in here by myself, you know, because I was the manager at the time. I'm like, you're not leaving yet. Hold on. And
You were that guy?
Yeah. So, you know, there was times where I swear I saw someone sitting in, you know, the dining area and lights are off. And there was times, you know, like all of a sudden something flies off the shelf and I don't know. And then there was one time I was walking out of the door, at the back door, and it just stopped. And I looked behind it and there's nothing there. And then I just opened it just fine. I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. One of my friends that worked there too, he was from Guam. What's up, Dave?
Are we gonna have to bleep that?
Probably.
No, Dave is pretty much the most generic name ever.
Oh, that's a good point. Actually, a lot of days.
We should have like a list of
Dave
soccer
Matthews.
names for later. We'll do that later.
So he's from Guam, and that might narrow it down. But he's from Guam.
There's got to be like at least like 3 Daves in Guam. From Guam.
So when he was growing up, you know, obviously there's like, you know, folklore in different communities. Every small town has their own wives' tale, whatever it is. He was saying that there was this one story of basically like spirits that would call you into the forest, because Guam's like a, you know, tropical place, right? And their backyard was basically the jungle, right? And he kept hearing, "Hey, Davey, you want to come play with me?" Like multiple times. And he, you know, he was like, no. He went inside and told his mom, and his mom's like, yeah, don't follow those voices. You won't come back.
So about that, so the internet. I'm gonna bring this up. Let's talk about spoopy times. Have you guys heard of like creepypasta or no sleep, or like /X?
No.
It's stories on the internet people will write. It's like horror stories and stuff. Most of them are obviously fake. Some of them are fun. They're fun to listen to, mostly because you don't have to pay for them because they're free on the internet, but they're fun to listen to. But one of the tropes they love to use is like people calling out from like the forest or something, like mimicking voices and stuff. It's weird because like if you look at different cultures, that's actually like very common.
It's very common, yeah.
Like the one that we have here in our western state is the Navajo skinwalker. Like that's one of the things they will attribute to. Oh, they will mimic voices of people to lure them out. I don't know. I think it's interesting that so many cultures have like that, like mimicry.
Voice mimicking.
Like in Mexico, they have I don't know if I'm saying this.
La Llorona?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't speak Spanish.
But it's a wailing woman, right?
Yeah.
Calling children into.
Yeah. I think it's
them.
weird that like so many. I wonder if it's like one of those stories that they would tell kids to get them to like not play by the river so they don't drown or something. I wonder if it's like, yeah, so you don't get kidnapped. But like, I think it's interesting that so many cultures have like a story of like something calling them that they can't see, but it sounds like someone they know or something.
Yeah, and where like little kids are the one to confirm that. That's kind of tough too, because
Yeah.
I remember being a little kid and like I still would swear on the Bible and tell you I saw Santa Claus in my house when I was younger. I think that like as a little kid you can distort the crap out of those memories too.
You know, I was always, I had a photographic memory, so I'd be able to see things, like literally see them. If I think of something, I can actually see it in my head.
Oh, you
So
did
I would,
great in school.
yeah, I did okay in school, but it was more like visual things, so like art and stuff. But that itself, my imagination would like ruin me for like nights on end if I saw a scary movie because I would literally see things,
That's why I just don't watch scary movies. Does anyone here like scary movies?
No.
It
Yeah,
depends on
you
the
and I
movie.
don't.
I like movies with tension. I really don't like slasher movies. I think they're dumb. But I love movies with like high tension. Like for example, the normie example is A Quiet Place. The tension in that film is amazing.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. If it's anything demonic,
No, that's a hard
no
no
for me.
What's the
It just it brings a weird feeling in like just general atmosphere that makes me
Yeah,
like, yeah, no.
like I feel it right now.
It's kind of clammy. And I'm like,
honestly.
yeah. But no, like tension. I like tension. Like the original Alien movie is awesome as well.
Yeah, like-
the book is good too.
the original Alien movie was such a letdown.
We watched the second one. The second one's more of an
No,
action
we watched
movie.
both of them.
Did we?
The original Aliens, you didn't like it?
Yeah, it was not great.
I know we watched the second one. That one's not the spookiest, but it's a good movie. There's a lot of good one-liners.
Oh, that's what it's called.
Aliens.
The Conjuring. How did you guys feel about The Conjuring?
I didn't watch it.
Dude, that stuff freaks me out.
There's no freaking way. Is that the one where it had like in the trailer, it was like the clapping on the background all of a sudden?
Oh, I don't know. I'm getting like
Yeah.
all I remember is like some chick got possessed and like started climbing on the walls and like smashing through stairs and stuff. And
Did you guys ever see like Annabelle?
I did not because, yeah.
I remember I saw it with same friend from the other story, and a third friend. We went and saw it at the drive-in, and we just sat there and made fun of it the entire time. But not gonna lie, the whole way home, I'm like,
I don't like that feeling. I don't like it. Keep it away from me.
Does your wife?
No.
she doesn't like. Yeah, I don't think she would.
See, like my girlfriend really likes those movies.
Didn't you watch Blair Witch? Didn't that one get to you for a while?
Oh my gosh. Whoa, the renewed Blair Witch Trials. I've never been more scared in my life.
that one's pretty good.
The worst part was too, I was basically watching it alone because the other person had like,
Passed out
yeah, they like fell asleep and I couldn't move because they were like kind of like,
on you, and you didn't want to wake them up.
yeah, like that type of thing. And the controller's over there and you're like, ugh.
You're trying to force it to you.
Yeah, like honestly, yeah, I tried everything. I tried air bending, water bending, and fire bending to get that movie to turn off.
Didn't try earthbending. Tried hard enough. Yeah, one more, dude.
Yeah, earth bending was just not possible. But like, I remember like, I think I was 18 at the time. I'm like some like grown boy, and I'm sitting there closing my eyes like, when is this gonna be over? Please let it end. That movie was so terrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm a baby when it comes to stuff like
I do
that.
think
I
it's-
hate horror movies.
I do think it's funny how people like the feeling of being scared. I wonder if so much of our lives are just boring now that like.
Dude, that's why
go
Trump
out
and
of our
Biden
way.
are running, because people like being scared. That's why our government.
We need some action.
By the way, congressional approval rating right now, 13%.
Yeah.
For what?
Just Congress's approval rating.
Yeah.
Just in general?
just Congress.
Just in general.
13%?
Government. Screw the government.
Who likes the
We don't need them. Yeah, we do. I'm kidding. Okay, we don't, but
I feel like
In some
horror
form.
movies add more to our society right now than our current government officials do.
honestly, I feel like a lot of our governmental system is kind of a horror film. It scares me seeing certain people, politicians endorse certain groups that aren't good. on both sides. You know,
Actually, I'm
the whole
gonna
thing
say
kinda
that like
spooks me. But let's not get into politics too much. We did that last time. We were trying to get away from that.
so there was a meme when Trump was running
Yeah.
that was basically like the Spartan 300 movie. You know that one?
Yeah, yeah.
And they photoshopped in Trump and all these Republicans as like the Spartans. And they were just like wrecking dudes. And like the other guys, I think it was the Parthians. I can't
The
remember.
Persians, I
The
think.
Persians.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Persians. They made them all the Democrats. So it had like Joe Biden and like Nancy Pelosi and like Barack Obama. It was
Just getting
and it's
slaughtered.
Just like, yeah, it's just Trump. Like, I think he like kicked. I don't remember who it was. He kicked one of the Democrats into like the pit at the beginning. He's like, "We are going to make America great again." Again. Oh, you gotta check that movie out. It's pretty good.
300 is actually one of the few Zack Snyder films that's actually good.
I would agree with that.
300?
Yeah, 300 and Watchmen were good.
The color grade on that, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But they
Also
made
got
it.
the weird zooms that happen. Those are cool.
Did I tell you how that was that was made?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was I'll explain it to them. So it was 3 different cameras at different focal lengths, so different zooms, because they weren't able to do a slow motion and then a zoom all at once. So basically they had 3 different cameras on a rig, and they were just shooting the same thing. And in post, they would transition to each focal length for whatever shot they needed, zoom in, and if you don't know what scene I'm talking about, it's when they're just going down the line, basically, and Leonidas is just going in, and so it's going in like fast pace, and all of a sudden slow motion, and then it zooms in, and it's just like an epic shot. But that was a pretty cool. Anyways, go back on topic.
Okay, so with that topic though, okay, so Greeks, all these ancient empires had ideas, right? That like the gods are why things are happening right now.
Yeah.
And what if we are just to the point where we're blaming it on the gods or like the ghost made us feel that way when realistically something could explain it?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. That's why every time I'm like, well, how much of this was mass hysteria? How much of this is just DMT being released in your brain? You know what I mean?
I hope that our brains didn't all release DMT that night.
All at the
doubt
same
it.
time?
I doubt it.
No, I highly doubt it.
Okay, so
In a
this
large
is another thing I wanted to bring up. I mean, a lot of people have their skepticism with his work, but I find it interesting. Have you guys heard of David Paulides?
No.
He wrote The Missing 411. So basically, he was, I believe, a police detective who noticed that there were a large number of missing persons cases that happen in national parks. Of course, the guy attributes a lot of it to, it's Bigfoot, right? Because he'll look at the different cases and be like, okay, well, this one is obviously a murder. This one is obviously a suicide. This is obviously a kidnapping. But then for the ones that were undetermined, he's always like, okay, let's look into these. And it's always weird cases where people just disappear. I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. Do you think there's something at the forest, Kelton? Do you think there's
No, dude. No. Okay. So I like to go outside. I'm very outdoorsy. Okay. So you have all these people that get lost in a freaking Walmart, and all of a sudden they go to a national park, and they're like, "I won't get lost. The road's that way." And then they walk 4 miles, and they're like,
yeah,
"Well."
And then a freaking mountain lion gets them,
or they fall down a cliff face they didn't
Yeah.
see or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Just something like that. Like
or a bear,
Or
or Bigfoot.
or a
no,
bird.
not Bigfoot. Bigfoot would have to be, I don't know. You'd have to be pretty.
He has to be like some sort of like crazy master of stealth who doesn't like have body heat.
What
or
if
something.
Bigfoot really isn't that big? That way he could hide.
Like, he's like the little Homo florenzian guys. Have you heard of that?
What?
Discovery, or no, Animal Planet did a show a while back called Cannibal in the Jungle. And there was these race of people in an Indonesian island called Homo florenzians, or it was actually a subspecies of humans. So they were Homo, but it was Homo florenzians versus we're Homo sapiens. They called them hobbits.
Yeah. I was just gonna. So I pulled up the Wikipedia page. Homo florensis or Flores man nicknamed Hobbit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they would eat people, right?
They kind of ate everything.
Yeah. They were probably just primitive. Or probably just primates.
Are they still alive? Is it still a thing, or?
No.
No.
Animal Planet came out, and I'm still bitter about this because they came out with this like docudrama, and the whole thing was fake. I was like so hyped up that like,
Holy crap, they're real.
yeah, and then this guy's story wasn't even, I don't know, I was so sad. Dude,
Yeah.
what happened to days when Animal Planet like played documentaries and Discovery? I'm a nerd.
Do you remember
I
the
love documentaries.
10 most extreme Remember that show?
Extreme Animals, like where they were
Animal
like,
Planet on Animal Planet.
Yeah.
That was my favorite show growing up.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
I watched March of the Penguins and I bawled my eyes out in first grade.
I remember I fell asleep.
You and I were different kids.
I didn't have the attention span. I mean, I still don't, but you know.
All right. How much? Okay. So going back to ghosts, how much of it is true? Do you think that people get possessed?
Oh, I don't know. Possessions?
Because I remember Brother Fawcett, one of our seminary teachers, he had a story about doing an exorcism.
The LDS Church still does exorcisms.
It's not like an exorcism in the traditional sense. They have specific, essentially prayers that they will give. Like there are some specific wording you need to use. They're used very, very lightly, very, very rarely. Like you need a very obvious case of like, yeah, something really messed up is happening. And it's not like they lock somebody in a basement. It's literally you just say a prayer and like,
Hope for the best.
Usually it, goes away, right?
Oh, so many chills.
But no, the thing is like sometimes, like I was a missionary, like when I was in Oregon, that's what I was doing. Just, there were some cases where, you'd like talk to somebody and just kind of like, yeah, no, you just don't. And then there were some cases like you'd go into someone's house, like they'd invite you in, even like, and you'd be like, yeah, something is here and it's not good.
So this is kind of like a side part though, but like
Yeah.
as far as like the LDS Church and their doctrine is concerned,
Yeah.
How's that explain it?
would that be possible to even be
Possessed?
by a spirit?
Uh,
Because I thought that like they're here, like that 1/3 is here, right? But I didn't think that they had the power to like.
Over the age of 8, Satan has a lot more control of you.
so here's the thing.
But like complete control, like
Not complete, but
Like-
if
like
so,
yeah.
I don't know if you have an explanation, but my mom, she's Latino. She's very superstitious. So their explanation is basically if you're weak spiritually, and maybe sometime you invite that in, or you're doing something like that. Basically, at that point, he or the spirit can do what it wants.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's essentially how it is. Like if you are, the thinking is, if you are weak spiritually, and then you do something that overtly invites it into your life, and then you do that over an extended period of time, it can, because you're letting it in. Like you have to seek out evil for it to, or most of the time you have to seek out evil for it to affect you. But yeah, no. So like, it can, in my opinion, it can happen, but like you have to like be into some like really crazy stuff for it to happen.
Like Ouija boards and
Like Ouija boards and like
the six-membered star type thing.
pentagrams and like trying.
Was
like,
it 5-member star?
it's a 5-point star. It's
Is
a
it 5
pentagram.
point? Okay.
But like you have to be really into like going out of your way to find that stuff for it to affect you. That's my personal understanding and opinion on it. Is like you have to seek it out for it to really affect you. And so like just don't mess around with Ouija boards.
Yeah, I
Just
agree.
don't.
I no freaking way.
Yeah. Stay away from it.
This
So-
Halloween.
No Halloween, no.
Yes, this
Um,
Halloween.
Nah.
With all of our costumes.
No.
Yes.
So it's interesting you say that it has to be, overtly you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
My mom is convinced that at one point my sister had been possessed at the age of like 12.
Yeah, but I mean, there are other circumstances, and I don't really want to
Yeah.
talk about it in front of a microphone. 'Cause some of that stuff, illegitimately, like I don't like talking about it because I feel like if you go too far into it, you're going to invite something, and I'm like, nah. That's
So-
I'll tell you in a minute, but like not in front of the mic.
All right. I think we need to take a break again.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kids.
So in that break, we kind of had a long explanation of what I was going to say. So basically, my sister started having kind of staring seizures. And, it's kind of weird because she would just stare off and my mom didn't know what it was. And they took her to the doctor. It's like, oh, it's seizures. So they gave her medication. And so all this story is from my mom's perspective. So I kind of had some other people talk about it, but this is all what my mom kind of saw. So they gave her medicine for the seizures. It got worse. It started going to grand mal seizures. And it was to the point where she was having seizures like minutes apart constantly, and it was really messing things up. And so when she would have a seizure, though, she wouldn't know it's coming. She would feel it on her left side. And what's interesting about that is when she had seizures, she would turn to her left side and just keep turning, basically. So
I actually have an explanation for that when you get to it.
Okay. So this is the second time you're hearing this story, so you're kind of analyzing it. So she would know when it was going to happen, and then she would grab my mom, basically, because she was very close to mom at the time, just constantly, just for safety and things like that. So it's coming again, she would say, and then, she would have the seizure, and you just have to hold her and make sure she doesn't hurt herself. But she would be really scared and things like that. But it got to the point where, okay, this medicine is making it worse. And, she went to the doctor. She didn't want the medicine, so she went to try to go through a more natural approach with, like, natural medicines and things like that. So she ended up taking her off the medicine. And it got better to a certain degree, but eventually would get worse again. And the homeopathic doctor she took her to basically was a relative from Guatemala, and she said that it was the doctor saw the seizure and said that it was not just a seizure, it was something else. And probably put the thought in her head that it was a demon or some kind of spirit that was in her. And so, what do? You go to your religious leader, and she went to her bishop and her stake president, and they basically said, no, we don't do that kind of thing. It's just seizures. She's kind of got to get over it. And so she didn't take that as an answer, and went to my grandpa, who had the previous experiences with these sorts of things. And so he came over to look at her, and there was a seizure she had, and he was going to give her a blessing and put his hand up. And she had one of those lucid moments where she looked at him and stood up in the middle of the seizure, stood up, looked at him, and grabbed his hand. And her hand is all crunched up because she's having a seizure, right? They do the crazy hands, and crunched it and then just grabbed it and then put it down and, like, looked him in the eye and basically just smirked in his face and then went back to having the seizure. Okay? And obviously that was concerning to Grandpa. And he's like, hey, we're going to start this. And, they started doing blessings and basically the exorcism, as it were, and realized that he wanted some help from some more priesthood holders. And he called for the family to come over, but only one showed up. And basically, I think it was over the span of a few days that they started doing this, and she said that there was multiple spirits or something like that, and there was one instance, so they were downstairs in the middle of the night because they were just with my sister. It was my grandpa and my brother, and I don't know if anyone else was with them, but basically, they were just downstairs with my sister, just keeping her safe while she was sleeping, and she would have a seizure in the middle of the night, and they would, attend to her or whatever. And then everyone else was upstairs, and my sister had a seizure, and based on what my mom said, my brother saw something come out of her. It was a dark figure. The way that I was described, it was kind of like a Darth Maul without the red face. Okay. So, it was said that they came in. It went into my brother, and then my brother obviously went to Grandpa to say, "Hey, I saw something. I'm scared, whatever," and he cast it out, right? And then later on, my mom said that in one of those nights that was happening, and there was blessings going on for multiple days. One of the nights, it was super cold in their bedroom in the middle of the summer, and she was cold, so she went up against my dad, and he's always hot. He's always a furnace, right? And he was ice cold too. And when they were talking later the next day or sometime after that, my brother was telling, just over like lunch or something, they was telling him about what he saw and what happened. And my dad said he saw something similar that night when it was super cold. He woke up and he saw a face just above him, and it just went at him and then disappeared. And it was a dark figure with a face that was, he said it was kind of like green and yellow, but he couldn't really see it, but it was just super fast. He saw it, but he described it to my brother, and he said it was the same thing. And I don't know what would explain that, but eventually got to the point where the priesthood holders were blessing, and all of a sudden, she couldn't breathe because she was having so many seizures. All the mucus in her lungs were building up, and she was laying down for the blessings, and so she stopped breathing basically. So my mom had to do CPR to get her to breathe, and they took her to the hospital. And we believe it was, or she believes that was like kind of the last of the spirits at that time. And they took her to the hospital. And that next morning, she had brain surgery because they found a tumor the size of a golf ball in her head. So, I mean, that's easily explained. Oh, it was the tumor. But it doesn't explain why everyone else saw things. And there was people there, praying and helping out that saw things and felt things. And a lot of those people that were involved at that point, their lives took a turn. And, they started making bad decisions and things happened that couldn't, it kind of explains why it makes sense. I don't know. It was really interesting hearing about this just today, because I was calling my mom. I was like, "Do you have any crazy stories from Guatemala?" And then she's like, "Yeah, your sister." I was like,
in Guatemala?
"No, this was here, but
like in Utah."
Utah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
They only found 2 priesthood holders. What the?
Yeah, I mean, it was the family thing, but
yeah, if it's a family thing, I mean,
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. We can try to dissect that a little bit, but.
Yeah. I definitely think that it's easy to just kind of blame the metaphysical, I guess. Not trying to discount anything, but I don't know. I always want to assume that there's an explanation for things before I jump to anything. I mean, I'm not the expert on this. Kelton does know more, but
Mm-hmm. So what was your explanation for the left side?
Turning to one side.
Yeah.
So basically all of your motor movements, they start in the brain, right? Mm-hmm. So the brain's divided so that if I want to do this action, I'm using the right side of my brain. So if it was a large enough tumor that could affect, I guess it depends on where the tumor was too. But if it was there,
left of the frontal cortex part, right here, almost on the temple.
Yeah. So if it's around there, there's a whole gyrus that runs down to there that basically has all your motor control in the frontal lobe.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if it's only acting on one side, that could be why she's only turning one way.
So is that why when people have strokes, they'll have one half of their body go?
Yep.
paralyzed?
Yeah. Normally it's the face. Yeah. That's exactly
it's the face first, but if they've had a serious enough stroke, they'll only be able to use one side of their body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah. That's one of the thoughts. The other thought is too, if she was taking seizure medication and it wasn't working, it's because the seizure medication's basically slow down neurons. And if her neurons were fine and it was just there's a tumor pressing up on.
But
That's what I like to do.
she'd had CAT scans and all the things to look at that in the past, and it wasn't there. They couldn't find anything.
They could have missed it though.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah.
And I mean,
It was years later after they found the golf ball.
yeah,
And, maybe tumors grow super fast.
it depends. Yeah, it really depends on the type of tumor.
Yeah.
But central nervous system tumors are pretty aggressive just because you need that.
It's a lot of wiring and it's very complex.
Yeah.
Kind of like dipping your cell phone in some water.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of that too is if you surround yourself with the thought of something enough, you're gonna
Yeah, you're
You
gonna.
see something.
feel it,
Yeah,
right?
that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
because I mean that's just what our brains do is just
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if you're surrounding yourself with all this like spoopy stuff, that's the same reason why when you go to bed at night after you've watched a scary movie, you're like, ugh, every 5 seconds. It's not because like there's something there. I hope not anyway.
Yeah, me too.
It's
Yeah.
because you kind of put yourself in that mindset.
Yeah, you get your neurons firing and your like senses are on high alert and you're gonna hear more than you normally would. Like you'd hear it, but you wouldn't think anything of it. That kind of thing.
Oh yeah, your fight or flights, it's kicked up a notch. Your heart's going. You're not really hungry after one of those. You're just like, okay, let's not die tonight.
Let's not.
That's what a stress response is made for, man. You get more stress so that you stay alive.
I mean, look, if we've gotten this far, like humanity has lasted this long, I think it probably works on some level, I'd assume.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dinosaurs were around for much, much, much longer. Sharks have been around for longer
Some
than
of
trees.
crocodiles and stuff too. Like they're freaking old.
Yeah, I think sharks are older than crocodiles, if I remember it.
Yeah, but like crocodiles haven't like changed much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
how do you explain that two different people had the same?
Okay, so I'm going to describe to you a car, and I want you to describe a car back to me.
Okay.
Okay, so it had 4 wheels. It had 4 doors. It had a big glass window. The paint was kind of black, but maybe a little bit of a greenish hue on it. And it also looked, let's say, 15 feet long.
It was a Cadillac, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually it was.
Ah.
See, and the
Point
problem was,
disproven.
I didn't
there
even
wasn't a
think,
stretched 4-door Yugo,
I didn't even think of a Cadillac until he said that, but
and then
it perfectly matched my description though. So
yeah.
yeah, I think it might be one of those things too.
Yeah, I mean,
Psychology's, yeah,
Awesome.
psychology is kind of insane. I mean, I'm not trying to like discount. I mean, I don't know what it was. I'm just a
I want that to not be true just because that would like make me feel better.
yeah.
I should have saved this one for October, but this is still good.
Spoopy time.
Yeah, spoopy. We'll talk more spoops later, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I was there to see that everyone was there to help, you know, and give her blessing. I understood the blessing part, but basically I was in the other room.
But
I
did
was
you
super
feel
young.
anything? Because I feel like you would have felt something, even though you didn't know what was going on. Like if it was really this like omnipotent being, like
I was. I
don't know
mean,
if omnipotent's the right
if you
word.
want to get into like,
all powerful.
Malevolent?
you know, like a,
It's probably the word I'd use.
Nah, Maleficent ruined that.
Yeah, sure.
if you want to get into like, explanation of like with LDS beliefs, I was under the age of 8, so technically I wouldn't have been, subject to that. But
I don't agree with that because
I don't know. That's how my mom explained it to me because I don't remember feeling anything. I remember, being scared for my sister because she's freaking having seizures all the time. I mean, the first time she had a grand mal seizure, I thought she was having an alien pop out of her.
That was so serious. The headphones.
I mean, you got the point across.
Yeah.
So, I was, always scared for my sister until it got to the point where it's like, oh, it's just normal.
I heard, but that's different than from what we'd said earlier about how little kids see this stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I it's hard to say.
I saw all kinds of things as a kid, but that was my own imagination,
But
probably.
yeah, I think a lot of that can be attributed to kids just having crazy imaginations and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be it.
I mean, I like to cite on the air of like things can be explained, even though I have my beliefs and that's fine. But like I do tend to err on that side.
Yeah, it's just a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Exorcisms are freaky.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
And if I talk to my other side of the family and like looking into it, yeah, they're like, yeah, it's just the freaking tumor. You guys did all that for nothing.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's perspective, man.
yeah, I don't know.
Do whatever feels right, but then listen to your doctor.
Definitely listen.
Vaccines
to
are
your doctor.
real. The earth is round. What other controversial statement can I make?
Oh. We all
Let's
just
not
thought
go
the
there.
same one. You know it.
Let's not
Let's
go
stop
there.
while we're at it. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, that was so horrible. We all thought the same thing. So at the end of the day, aliens probably out there.
I mean, they may not be aliens, but there's probably something out there.
I mean, you could still call them aliens, even if they look like us and they're from a different planet. I'm gonna still call
what
them.
if they're like extra dimensional? Would they be aliens? If they're
Were they
like, the
from
fifth
here
dimension?
originally?
Like, yeah, they're here. But
Oh
they're,
no,
like,
no,
fifth
yeah, no.
dimensional.
If they were here, then yeah, no.
Are they aliens or are they?
I mean,
No,
we
no,
call
they're
we
from-
call
they're
Mexican
from Earth.
people without paperwork aliens too. So
Why is that?
I don't know.
I think the word alien.
What's the definition of alien?
Why isn't your search working?
Because my computer's stupid sometimes.
I think I hit
Belonging to a foreign country or nation. Well, that sucks.
So basically, it just means foreign.
Yep.
foreigner. Outlander.
There's a picture that says people also search for human, and it's like this caveman.
Yeah, your computer isn't searching anything anymore. I don't know what's up. I think I broke it. I don't know. It's okay. I still got
Waiting.
Cookie Clucker, so we're not.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
It's not all bad though. We got
Okay, what about vampires then? Do you guys believe in vampires?
no.
I think that people are messed up and want to drink people's blood.
Okay, but what about not like the Twilight, like hippy dippy vampires, but like
Like
I want to
Norse-
suck your blood.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Can't go outside.
What is it?
Yeah.
Nosferatu. The word for it.
Like the Romanian version.
Yeah.
it's an S. It's
Norse-
Slatori or something.
Yeah. No. English is hard, dude.
I don't think that's English. I just think no, because I don't think you can physically come from the dead. I don't think you can.
Nosferatu. That's what it is. Nosferatu.
I say that, but then I also believe in Jesus. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things about like the vampires, like the popular lore, I suppose, like the whole like, oh, they're dead but they can move. Like, oh, yeah, but how though? Same with the zombies. Kind of heartbeat.
The
How you
zombie
supposed to
one,
move?
like, I don't know, because a vampire, my thought is like, oh, it's dead, but it came back to life type of a deal. But like a zombie, when it's like gone, you're
It's
like,
like
wait,
half rotted, and you're like,
Yeah, you're
how
like,
can you
no.
still walk?
no
dude?
muscle. Ugh.
Also, how do you survive the winter when you freeze, dude? Anyway. Yeah, no, I don't know if I really put much stock into that. Same with like, I think like werewolves and stuff are just people embellishing like wolf attacks and being traumatized.
Okay.
Like, it was huge. You know
What about El Chupacabra?
Totally.
You totally believe in that?
Phineas and Ferb found it. It's confirmed. We have a friend that can
Clearly.
vouch for that.
Clearly.
If it's on Phineas and Ferb, it's law.
Isn't there a theory that El Chupacabra is like a coyote with mange?
I mean, that's
I've heard that
what they
before,
look
actually,
like.
yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
they look like.
Actually, I don't know what a chupacabra looks
You
like.
see the
Phineas and
documentaries,
Ferb-
I've
it's
never
definitely
seen
a freaking.
Why is that the go-to?
Well, the Phineas and Ferb one didn't show you what the chupacabra looked like.
Oh, well, that's actually a pretty smart.
I've seen
play for
it portrayed of different ways, like just like a large dog. I
I've seen
portrayed
some
it
like
as like a,
spine-looking things on its back.
Ooh.
yeah, they're creepy.
See, this just looks like a coyote with mange.
Yeah.
This looks like half kangaroo, half coyote.
I have heard people like say it like it looks like half kangaroo.
Oh, that one's wild.
Chupacabra. Yeah, like are you
Yeah.
on the Wikipedia page? Like
Yeah.
the weird lizard-looking thing.
Yeah.
Like that'd be spooky.
All right, Bigfoot then.
You know what?
I think it's bears. I think people just seeing bears and freaking out.
Well, there was such a thing as was it Gigantopithecus?
There was
It
a lot of Pithecus.
Kong?
King Louis and
Oh, the
the
massive
Jungle Book.
orangutans?
Yeah, that's what he was.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, part of me would say, like, if there was some sort of Bigfoot thing, it would be some sort of North American ape or something. But like, if they existed, we probably would have found it by now.
These were in Asia, I believe.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
There was a land bridge though, but
Right, but like if they still were around, we would have found them by now.
yeah,
Odds are. We would just, with the amount of people we have who go into forests,
you know what?
someone would have stumbled across it and taken a picture of it. I mean,
Weren't giant sloths a thing
Yes.
when people came?
Yeah, everything was really big. Like, it's super cool. So I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
remember what it's called, but there's this trend that as you move further south or further north from the equator, you get bigger in body size. And it's just because you conserve temperature better because you have more volume and less surface area for that amount of volume versus
Like polar bears are so big.
yeah, that's why polar bears are really big and
How
like
do you
a lot of
explain
the
elephants
foxes.
then?
Elephants?
Good one, huh?
Or
Well,
rhinos.
They were originally mammoths at some point, right?
But yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if they originally were.
I don't know. I hadn't looked at their lines, but my thought with elephants is look at how big everything else is on the African continent. That's
how crazy everything looks, too.
well, they're just so big because size becomes an intimidation thing, right? That's why you have the long necks and the sauropods
Yeah.
as the dinosaurs. Is it was genetically an advantage to be bigger, right? Because a T-Rex couldn't go eat a sauropod if it was too big.
Yeah, and they
So-
could whip things with their tails.
Yeah, it's like the little ones died off; they got bigger and bigger.
Also,
Yeah,
the
right.
oxygen levels were different and
Way
things like
different,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot more oxygen. The bugs back then, because of how
The massive dragonflies that were just yeah. Oof. Oh man.
honestly monkeys probably scare me more than aliens.
I would not. If there was like, oh, I want to meet a monkey. Well, maybe just a monkey,
Little
but
cute
like a
ones.
I'll swim
chimp.
with a shark.
I'd
Over
say-
that.
Oh, no. Freaking a chimp? No way.
Yeah, no.
That's just like a freaking small, stout person on
I've seen
steroids.
Planet of the Apes. I know how this ends.
Oh, they're so strong.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
Well, I don't know. Have you guys heard how they hunt baboons in Africa? So,
Oh, they just shoot them out of the trees.
so yeah, they hunt baboons in Africa because they're basically known to like sneak into these villages and like take babies out of cribs and stuff. They're horrible.
Yeah.
So they're really smart and hard to hunt, but basically you just find where they're at, and there's always one that climbs up to the top of the tree and is like a lookout, and you just snipe the thing from like a mile away and just drop it out of the tree, and then another one will apparently climb up, and you just keep doing that. But the villagers hate them just because they are terrifying. They're territorial.
It's
and
like real life spawn camping. Amazing.
Have you seen there's chimpanzees and then there's the bigger version of the chimpanzees and they're like the size of people, like height and everything. You seen those?
I think I've heard of them. Which I think, if I remember right,
They're not chimpanzees. They're something different.
they're called bill apes.
Oh. Oh, why did yours come up with something? Mine didn't. Weird.
Yeah, bill apes. That's kind of freaky.
Yeah, no.
What's another animal that you guys just don't think exists and like people
Mermaids?
tell us?
Are we talking cryptids or actual animals?
Like actual animals. Did you just say roommates?
It said
And they were
mermaids.
Oh, mermaids. Oh, okay. Pirates of the Caribbean confirmed that there's
roommates. Okay, then what about sirens then? Are they the same thing?
Oh yeah, totally.
They're definitely the same thing.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the Ninjin thing? Like the ocean cryptid people talk about? It's like a humanoid whale thing. It's hard to explain. It's an internet thing. Don't worry about it here.
So it's like
Humanoid whale
Pearl
thing?
from
Kind of. No, it's sort of like a...
See SpongeBob confirmed.
Ninjin. It's folklore. That's not the image I was thinking of. Let me find it.
We need to find that
This
image
this
again
is what
for
I
the-
was thinking of. This is what I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Or where's the famous? This is the meme image. What he uses, a weird looking like whale thing.
It's I don't think that's real.
No, that's Photoshop. But like people talk about it on the internet. I think it's funny.
You know, narwhals are one that
Narwhals?
like, yeah,
They're real.
they're real, but man, don't they just not seem real?
It's just nature's got like a really weird, just like sense of humor. About
Just like the
things,
way
man.
that a narwhal looks is like,
Like a platypus.
oh yeah, platypus.
Or what are the pangolins? Freaking weird looking.
Pangolins are cool.
Apparently they're like going extinct,
Pangolins?
too.
Yeah, they're going extinct because
What's a pangolin?
they grind them up and put them in medications in China
Yeah.
and other Asiatic. Oh, pangolins, I can show you. They're like a little almost armadillo type thing, but not.
Oh, it has like scales, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, I haven't kept up on this. It might not be accurate, but one of the thoughts of the COVID-19 bullcrap
Was penguins?
Yeah, so pangolins basically gave it to humans, or pangolins gave it to bats, which then gave it to humans, which I thought that was a little bit ironic because we're like wiping out their species to the point of extinction, which is super sad and like a topic I want to
But
talk
it's
about another
payback,
day.
I guess.
But yeah, man, that is payback for like,
Yeah. I don't know.
That's pretty far out there.
They're crazy looking animals, though.
they're cool. I like pangolins. They look like little dinosaurs. Okay, any more supernatural stuff that we want to talk about? Did we miss any big ones? Vampires, werewolves. Did we get all of Harry Potter?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like honestly.
No.
Do you think that there is such thing as witchcraft?
No. I think it was a way to like ruin your neighbors politically back in the old days, to be honest with you.
I mean,
She's a witch.
I think a lot of like that is legends and stuff, and people trying to explain things. It's like the whole like, oh, Zeus is why we have thunderstorms kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say hard no. Sorry for all of you people who really like those books. They're not real.
And they're ripped off from Lord of the Rings.
That too.
And J.K. Rowling's taking some heat right now.
We'll talk about that another day. I really want to get into that later, but yeah.
So when my great grandpa died, they were going through his stuff and sorting everything, and they found the book, his
The Witch Doctor book.
witch doctor book.
What do they call that?
I don't know, but basically I think my mom saw it. Oh, maybe it was my grandpa that saw it, but he felt something when he saw it, and someone said, "Don't touch that book. It's got evil in it," and
That's freaky.
yeah.
With that, mummies.
I think the mummies are definitely a real thing.
I mean, yeah, they're not fake, but I
But
think
like the Mummy movie.
great movies. Probably not real. I mean, I think the whole thing with like people dying was because of like bacteria, right? Like crazy bacteria that was stuck in like those tombs.
What?
Like when they opened King Tut's tomb, didn't like
Oh.
people like die pretty soon after because of
Like a
crazy
curse. They thought it
bacteria?
was.
I didn't keep up with that.
I remember reading this like back in like the 30s or something. It's forever ago. I remember reading like people were saying like, oh yeah, it was like crazy bacteria or something like that.
That would
I
just
could be wrong.
resurfaced or something.
It just had been in there and they just didn't like wash their hands or anything.
I wonder why they
forever
opened that
ago.
up. Like, what's the purpose?
Lawsuits in there, dude. Why not?
Well, you just
Think
got to
so.
excavate and see what's in there. That's what the point of archaeology
Maybe
is.
it's just some BS I read. 'Cause everything on the internet's obviously real, so you know.
One of the guys got died.
He got died.
He got died by a mosquito.
He got
No, but yeah, he got
game-overed.
bit by a mosquito.
Okay, got game over by a mosquito.
How many of them died? I can.
Well,
only-
I mean, I'm sure they're all probably dead because that was forever ago. But let's see. What's some other? I got a list of cryptids on the internet. How about the Kraken? Do you guys think the Kraken's real?
There's definitely giant squid.
Dude, I think there's spooky stuff in the ocean we don't even know about. It's just tons of ocean that we just
I
don't
think-
know what's in there.
I've heard a stat that probably came out of someone's butt, but we know just as much about space as we do about our ocean.
Not space. It's Mars. I think.
Was it Mars?
I think it's Mars. It's like a different planet or something.
Yeah.
We know about our ocean.
It's because the ocean is heckin' crazy huge. Like, we don't ever use much. Like, the shipping lines are very specific areas that we use, but everything else we don't really touch.
Yeah, we do. We dump plastic in it.
Yeah, along the shipping lines.
There was
Well, it's
no,
China that's
it-
dumping plastic.
It gets every. Don't come in there on your high American horse. We dump so much stuff in there. The Americans treat everything like garbage. But
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
all right, so sorry about that. Our camera cut out due to the limitations provided on Canon by the European Union. So thanks for that. If you'd like to catch all the stuff that you just missed, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the Basin Show on Spotify, a few different other streaming services, or you can just go to anchor.com and find us there.
Hoorah.
Gotta
Yeah.
plug that merch.
Yeah.
We don't have any merch.
Not
I
yet.
want merch. Would you guys buy merch? Message us if you buy
All
merch.
10 of you. Would you buy merch?
Yeah. 3 of us would buy merch.
Yeah, 3 of us would.
Yeah, we would make merch for ourselves.
I'm good with that.
Hey, we could all get hats and match.
I don't know if I'd want to match.
Why not? I like hats like this. Do you like trucker hats?
Oh no, I just think it'd be weird if we all walked in
Just
like
kinda get
Sparks girls. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you can say that because it's 2020,
Just
but
bleep
like,
me.
we will. Okay, so
Shame.
final thoughts on our a little bit spoopy episode where we talked about some creepy stuff. Braden, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Okay, I think most everything probably has an explanation. Not to be the fedora tipping atheist or anything. I just legitimately think that there is probably more times than not an explanation for most things. Although there are some things we just don't have an explanation for, and that's fine. Overall, I think it's a lot of fun to talk about. Do I believe in most of the scary, spooky things? No, not really.
Most of them.
Yeah, but it's fun to talk about. It's a fun conversation.
For a little
having
bit, then
fun.
it just gets scary.
Yeah.
Okay, it's specifically like the demon stuff, kind of like no, I'm not into that. No
Yeah.
thanks. But it's fun to talk about most of the time, and I'm having a good time. And I think this is a lot less of a heavy topic than what we had before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife about the story I told,
Yeah.
and the whole time she's like, bull crap. And then
Oh, she's like that though.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and we got to
right-brained.
the end. She's like, the tumor? Yeah, duh. That makes sense. You guys are all crazy, but
So, Derek, what are your thoughts then around the table?
I mean, it would explain why things took a left turn at that point in all those people's lives. But
Yeah, but dude, 2016 did that to everyone.
you're right.
2020, dude, is
Nah, but 2016 was like that peak.
It wasn't
Turnaround.
2016. It was before that.
no.
Dude, that was when Harambe died, right?
It's when the cats film was released. That's when things really started to go south.
Yeah, it was so far south we weren't even on the planet anymore. Yeah, it was 2016 when Harambe died. Though. I think that's a good.
I can't believe it's been 4 years.
He was 17 years old. Wow.
Wow.
How old did they live?
It's probably how old we were in 2016. No, we were older than that. I was, at least.
I was younger than that.
2016. Oh, that
I voted in
4 years
2016.
ago.
Thank
It's the first year I could vote.
goodness I could not vote in that election.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What a-
couldn't vote either.
Yeah, that was a good one to not be able to vote on.
It
Alright.
was probably the worst one to start on. Actually, no. This one's going to be the worst one to start on. Anyway,
Any other final thoughts, Derek?
I don't know.
too
I have my
spooky?
suspicions that something's real, but I
can agree.
believe most of it can be explained with
Yeah.
there was a tumor. I think that's the most simple explanation
It's
to
not
all
a
of it.
puma.
I'm so glad you were going to say that.
I'm sorry, Derek.
It's a great show.
I'm sorry. I had
It
to.
was a tumor.
Oh, that's a good show too.
Yeah.
I guess so. My final thoughts. Yeah, I'm with Braden. I hope that this stuff's explainable because if not, I don't want to get possessed,
Or other things.
abducted.
Yeah. No.
Some of the abduction people though, like they're so far in right field. I have a hard time getting behind them. Like they're just.
And they started
think we
probing
could-
me, and
I honestly think we could have another segment if we did some research on specific cases of people who claim to be abducted. I think we do a segment on that. We should probably save that for later because I think it would be fun to look at specific stories and do that, but we can do that later.
I agree.
I think the alien thing is kind of another podcast.
yeah.
Yeah. So to conclude, what should we talk about next? Do you guys want us to talk about some alien abduction stuff? What are your thoughts on this whole freaky demon and possessing and aliens and stuff? Like, we legitimately want to know. Like, everybody who watches this is our friend, so let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll end it there.
Yeah.
Unless you have something to say, Braden.
No, I just realized I closed Cookie Clicker, and so now I'm kind of sad, but yeah, we're good.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.